Those are true. Names that are legendary. StockLegends.com.
Hello and welcome to Stock Legends Legendary Training video. Today we're going to cover the important analysis of trends. Now, trends can either be long-term or short-term, but it's important to know what sort of a trend you are looking at and whether it is a long-term or a short-term trend. We are looking at actually two different kinds of trends. We're going to analyze a long-term trend, which is indicated by the dotted trend lines, the red line and the dotted green line. And also we have numerous short-term trends occurring, indicated by the short, solid, thinner lines here that are occurring throughout the chart that I've already pre-drawn here. Now, we don't really understand the overall long-term trend until we start to build up some trading patterns in the shorter term. Now, we can see that the stock had started off here, and when we see an upward move occurring, we realize it's an upward trend, but we don't yet know when that trend is going to end. But what we can do is we can draw a trend line, and a trend line or an upward trend line usually is drawn along the low points in a straight line. Once we can connect two or three or more lines in a straight line, then we can indicate that that is a trend. And you can see that we've connected with it quite a few times. And then what we also know is that once that trend is broken or the price moves below the trend support, then we have a move in the opposite direction, and we can then plot along the high points as we know a downward trend is occurring. So we've got the upward trend, and where it's violated here, we see a negative downtrend beginning to emerge. So we can draw along our high points a red line, and this is a resistance. And once the resistance is broken, we see a new upward trend develop. And again, we did the same thing where we drew along all of our low points for an upward trend. Again, it gets broken, and we have a negative trend that begins to form. We break the negative trend, and we see another run up. And here's a little bit of a different pattern. Here we're able to determine two trends joining into each other. We've got a negative trend and a positive trend pushing up, and as these two intersect with each other, we need to see a move in one direction or the other. In this particular case, we get a move past the resistance trend, and we have a real nice spike. And actually we can draw as well one more trend line right here along all of the low points in a very straight up fashion. Again, as the support trend gets broken, we move into a downtrend, back up to an uptrend. Now we realize that there is a positive trend going in the long term, and similar to how we plotted the short-term trends, once we can determine the overall upward trend and connect some low points together, you can see that we connected 3 together, or 4 or 5 in this straight line, and again it was contacted up here as well and lifted from it. We know that this is now a support trend. We can take a parallel line and try to indicate where our highs could be. But what's important to know about this is along the dotted green line, which is our long-term support trend, we know that when that trend gets violated, the overall upward trend has ended. And we can see once this dotted line has broken, we do see a reversal, and the stock ended up in this particular instance moving basically sideways and down for several months. So it was a long-term reversal that this stock saw. It never had seen since 2009 when the stock was plotted another move back into the 26-cent area, and the stock had a long-term pullback. Thanks very much for watching. Happy trading, and be sure to learn a little bit more about technical analysis by stopping by StockLegends.com.